Okay, so this wasn't planned, but after seeing the reception of the last video I did on mobile games, I said why not make a follow-up to the video and the years that came after and leading till now. So yeah, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, me talking about mobile games or even playing other games, just leave a like. Let's try and get to like, I'd say 100 likes if this blows up, and just comment what you want me to do and subscribe please. I haven't eaten in a couple of days. So anyway, let's just get right into it. So where did we leave off? So we had just ended the Java era and we were starting to go into the sort of in-between era of mobile games till now. So this was like 2008 to like 2016. I think that's how long it lasted in my mind, because this was like still the part where most mobile game developers were really just figuring out the new technology and new hardware and just making new development tools that they could use and make mobile games. So during this time, mobile phones were advancing, and now we were fully going and moving on to smartphones and touchscreen phones and phasing out the other keypad phones. So I guess I'd call this era the early smartphone touchscreen era. Now, during this period of time, no one really knew what we were going to be getting with smartphones, and even if they would be worth it and reliable like the keypad phones that we had. And so there was kind of an in-between phase of companies trying to compromise and give us half smartphones and keypad phones like BlackBerry. And what they did, I think that one BlackBerry phone, I only used it like once in my lifetime, and I don't know what happened to it. I don't know where it went, but I just vividly remember using it and just seeing the little keyboard popping down from the screen, and it was just very cool, but it couldn't really survive in this era with how fast everything was moving. But anyway, during this period of time, no one really knew what we were going to be getting, and with that, the gaming sector or corner or whatever, and what was happening there was that most of the developers were really more than excited for the new technology and hardware that were coming in, and setting a standard for the games, and just setting the bar higher, setting a new standard for things that could be truly allowed to be done on mobile phones, and just take advantage of that so they could be able to be more creative and see their visions really come to life with the capabilities of the new technology. So let's get into the new era and let's talk about mobile gaming and how it was advancing in the early touchscreen era. So what I personally do remember from this era was an excitement for the types of new games that were coming out that I wanted to play. So I used to be excited for all these new games that I was seeing, like Subway Surfers, Asphalt, some other Game Loft games like Real Football, I think, and just all these new games, Temple Run, Candy Crush, Angry Birds, just these new very improved, polished touchscreen games that were really just really figuring out the devices that were coming out and just pushing the limits and making the hardware better, making the games more fun. And I remember when all the big companies moved from using WAP and WAPtrick.com and WAPpad.com and moved all their games to the Play Store when it was first a thing, and just remember seeing like how many great games were made before they evolved into the slop that we have now, and really how many great free games they were with very little ads. So during this time there was a really big hype around the first iPhone, first Samsung phones, even Nokia and Windows phones were being made, and they were still trying to be a player in this new generation. And also during this time there was something going on with, I think, Unreal and them doing a project or like an engine or program. They were trying to use it in conjunction with some game companies to develop mobile games for new touchscreen phones and smartphones, and just really see how we can push this hardware harder and just push it to the limit, like what we can do really with these new smartphones coming out. So now with this, we started really seeing how games on phones were going to look like and play like with the Unreal like kind of demo thing. It was like full HD 3D worlds with bigger maps for us to explore and way more content and complex things for us to do in the games and in the maps. So it really felt like being in a new world that was just like in your pocket. And I'm going to try and find a list of games that use the Unreal thing and show it on screen just so you can see how it was used, maybe even play some clips too if I can find some of just what it looked like back then. But I do have to say, amongst all the terrible slop games that we have today, only thing I see I'm really sad about is that all the past games were delisted or deleted. delisted from the app stores, and it's very hard and time consuming to try and find these older games and get them working on these modern phones. And it just really pisses me off a lot, because I don't understand why all those other games were just, you know, left in the past, deleted when they were fan favorites, and it just really pisses me off. Sorry for the rant. So anyway, this was just like the next evolution of mobile gaming, and it really started in 2007 with the drop of the iPhone. Along with that, in 2008, Apple also decided that alongside the iPhone, they were going to launch their very own App Store, while all the other smartphones during that time that were being made were still having people download stuff off of websites. Now, what the App Store did was have a platform available for developers to sell their games to their customers without mobile operators or publishers getting a cut. Kind of like some console games and indie developers, you know, just like having the indie developers really be able to be solo, start out in the industry solo, make their own game if they're skilled enough by themselves, and, you know, just publish it on the game console or whatever by themselves without needing like a big publisher to help them. But apart from just the impact that the App Store had on mobile gaming, it then again also impacted the whole smartphone world, the whole tech world, and even caused other smartphone makers to abandon their attempts at creating a more sophisticated smartphone environment. For example, BlackBerry and Symbian were trying to do this, and how? Well, they saw the success that the App Store had and what it was offering, and they also decided to try and build their own app stores to host their own apps and developers to make specific games and apps for the BlackBerry phones. But they just couldn't figure it out and crack it, and I believe that's one of the reasons why they couldn't really survive in the smartphone touchscreen era and why they got left behind. So after the failure of a big giant like BlackBerry struggling to compete with Apple in the App Store, there were now only really two major competitors who remained after the release of the iPhone, and that was of course the Apple and the Android based devices using the operating systems that had been developed by Google, and Windows in the background just meandering with the Windows Phone being made by Microsoft. So this is really where now, after Apple came out swinging with the App Store, the Google came out with the Google Play Store, and Windows also did something similar with the Windows Phone Store. Ultimately, however, we all know what happened to Windows and how very unreliable that the phones were and the OS was and how complicated it was, and Windows fell and wasn't really able to keep up with iOS and Android phone systems for them to be worthwhile or worth the buy. So Microsoft decided to really cease active development of the Windows Phone, which no one really liked. They were really hard to use. It was like trying to use a ported version of Windows 8 on a phone, which just didn't really it wasn't really appealing, and it wasn't really easy to use and really reliable. It was just confusing and just looked unpolished. And now it was only really iOS and Android as principal players in the mobile operating system and app market. So anyway, let's get back to the games. Let's talk about what transpired the year after 2008. So in December 2009, a company called Rovio Entertainment released a game you might know called Angry Birds on the App Store. Now this was a physics-based game involving throwing cartoonish birds at structures built by pigs who stole their eggs, and now we know and love these birds due to being just so big in our childhood and just being like a massive hit coming straight out of the gate. What you might not know though is that this fun and addictive and cheap game was really exclusive to the Apple App Store when it first came out, and later it was ported to Google Play Store for Android phones because it was just getting that big and not really a lot of people had iPhones. And in the Google Play Store, it was really rebranded and made into a free version, but now with ads. Though you could pay to get rid of the ads, it was still like getting big and people still really wanted to play the game. So with them doing this, they had people both on Android and iPhones playing the games, and it was just very big, a huge success. But also think with that's how mobile games and Angry Birds started monetizing their games on multiple fronts, not only having a paid version of the game but also having a free version of the game on the Google Play Store, but also putting ads in the game so that they could monetize it and still make profit from having a free version of the game on the Google Play Store. And it was just really a huge hit and really showed companies just how much they could make having a free version of a game or a priced version of the game, and just really showed that this was really lucrative, and if they just made like a huge game that's like a big success, that they could be very big and be very noticed and have a good reputation. But now with the constant connectivity that the developers had with the consumers, this meant that now they were starting to see that they could profit off of advertisements and advertising in their games. So this really opened the door for them to be able to distribute their games on app stores for free while still making profits. So I'd say like it was better for them to make a game that's free, like just pump out more games that are free and that are like semi high quality and not really that high quality of a game, and then they could just like run ads in the games and profit from that, instead of just making like a game that's not really worth someone paying for it or buying it. So I'd say this also kind of rippled into PC and console games and gaming now, because of developers making free to play games but having a lot of microtransactions in the games and just like overpriced DLC and things like that, loot boxes maybe even, and things that you have to pay for to really experience the game if you really like the game, and that really made it easier for them to profit off of making these free games. But now I'd say this was important also because the fact that people could play games like Angry Birds, Temple Run, Candy Crush, Asphalt, and even Subway Surfers for free, meaning that a lot more people would be downloading the games since they were free, and more people would be playing them more and more, and more ads would be getting watched, meaning people buying microtransactions also, meaning the game devs would be making a lot of money. And this isn't any petty money and petty ways, because tons of people, including me, were loving those games. They were really good, they were really polished and great made games that were really fun to play, high quality games. And now me personally, I've never paid for a microtransaction in my life, but I see I have watched quite a lot of ads to get in-game rewards and stuff, so I'm guilty of that. But back then it wasn't really as crazy as it is right now, where I get spammed with an ad every 5 seconds trying to play a game and just end up deleting the game. And I'd say I'm pretty confident in saying that mobile games from 2008 to like 2015 were good and enjoyable and original high quality games, and then after that it just went off the deep end and just fell off a cliff in terms of quality and enjoyability and just, you know, playing time, because now this was when people started realizing like they could just put as many ads as they could in games, just make you watch ad after ad to get something that you want, and it was really just annoying. So what do you think killed mobile games? Because right now it's hot garbage and I hate it and the industry, and I just hate all the games coming out. There's nothing good, and really just makes me want to, you know, not have a phone anymore, because the only thing I use it for is just calls, maybe watching a bit of YouTube and just really work and stuff, because there's nothing else to do. It's like we've reverted back to the 90s,
evolving just
or
back
before the 90s, where phones were just for calls and work, because everything else that is coming out isn't really worth it. There's no quality in that, there's no quality control, and it just makes me feel like I'd be better with a keypad phone or a flip phone. But anyway, what I think killed mobile games has got to obviously be the ads and greeds, and that would be the easy answer. But if I want to go more in depth, I'd say that this would be the price to pay. Get it? Because the games are free anyway, for having more vast and more technically advanced games being free. So the devs took advantage of that, and they knew that they could make addicting games that could pump advertisements out like every 5 seconds, and just like, you know, just make it really addicting, make it so people want to play it more, make a good game loop, and then just like put like 50 advertisements in it. But I'm talking later about after 2014-15, that's when it really became really bad. Okay, so let's go back. So let's talk about Gameloft. So during this time, there were actually juggernauts in the mobile gaming industry, and I can remember it used to be, I think, Gameloft and some other company called Glue, who in my head used to be competitors. And back then they were still making good quality games, and they were really fun and really not as greedy as they are right now. But to be honest, I don't know what happened or where Glue went, the game company, because it really just disappeared out of nowhere like this. but it just stopped making good games and kind of just fell off, and it was just Gameloft alone at the top, or should I say Greenloft, because after the fall off of Glue, Gameloft started making their games as money sucking, wallet washing, cash draining as they could possibly do, and
that's the bottom line,
and be making games play differently until you watch an ad or buy something in microtransactions, hiding some access behind paywalls, and just becoming very, very annoying and, you know, difficult to play and difficult to enjoy and like the games. But now, with the sites focused on the dollars, the French company's quality of games and the products are dropped significantly, and the games just became so much more boring and lame because of the ads and microtransactions being spammed in your face and just, you know, overwhelming all your senses. Like, I could even feel it on my skin, like I'm just like losing my mind or something seeing these. So from my own experience with these games, I've experienced this through games like the new gangster games. I remember Gangster when it was really GTA on a phone, but anyway, now it really is like GTA on a phone, but just GTA Online and the bad part of online, and also other games that just take up space and pay to win, even so just very disheartening. What's crazy too is that before all this, on Java we even had Mortal Kombat ports, Street Fighter ports, and some other just great classic games that were ported over to these Java games, and really have a lot of high quality games that were just, you know, fully functioning games that didn't have ads playing, that didn't interrupt you, and just let you enjoy the games. And now it just seems like a far concept of a thought that's left in the past. And listen, okay, listen, so I want to make a bet, and some betting is, if this turns out to be true, or if this turns out to be false, I'm going to go to the bank, sell my house, sell all my assets, sell my computer, sell my soul, sell my headphones, my microphone, my phone, everything I own in my house and everything, and I'm going to bet everything that I have in my possession, even bet the clothes off my back, that if you go to the App Store right now or Google Play Store, and the first game that you see in the top 100 top free or grossing games, that it's just going to be some terrible ad-filled cash grab slop game, and I put that on my soul and I've bet on it. And so all that leads us to today and the stable of mobile games right now. But maybe I'll make another video just to tie up this tiny trilogy I've made and just end it nicely. So yeah, if you guys want to see the end to this trilogy and where the state of mobile games are right now, just leave let's say, like, let's get to like 25 or 50 likes or 1,000 likes, 100 likes, 100,000 likes. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching and liking the video and subscribing, and please comment so I can see you guys, I can heart you your comments. I like responding to your guys' comments. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. So yeah, get ready for the next one and see you.